What up, though? Welcome to Tinman's podcast. We have a great episode for you guys today. I'm going to introduce my good friend, Coach Bandit.
What's going on? What's cracking, everybody? It's Coach Bandit here. My boy Tim Man got me here on this podcast. We're going to be giving a lot of game, whether you're from the streets, from a neighborhood. And, if you're trying to get in shape, we're going to give a lot of free game right here.
And being in shape and doing what you do with the fitness. This podcast today is dedicated to all the families that used to be here in Carlsbad. So it's a blessing to be here. And at what moment in time, Coach Bandit, did you decide that, man, I'm going to bet on myself? When did you say I'm going to stop running around the streets? Educate us. Let us know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So for me, I've always been working out. I went to LP, that's a juvenile hall over there in LA area, when I was 15. And then from there, you don't got no choice but you're in a cell. You got no choice but to do something, So I was already into sports, basketball, football, baseball my whole life. Always athletic, so did a little bit of working out in there. But when they let me out on house arrest, I went to live with my dad, and then he got me some weights. And then 2-3 months straight, I used to I weighed like 140, maybe 150, maybe. And then that 2-3 months of house arrest, I jumped up to 170 because I was just eating, working out every single day.
Program.
Yeah, programming. So I started working out at a young age, but then, being from the neighborhood, especially as a teenager, you're going to still be active. So the working out, it didn't fully fix me or save me at that moment.
Kept you busy.
Yeah. And I had negative reasons for it. Like, I wanted to work out to get bigger because I knew I was going to be getting down with enemies. So I didn't want to be 140 pounds fighting a dude that's 200 pounds.
Yeah.
So that was my mindset, was I wanted to get bigger and make sure that I could take care of myself.
That's right.
And like I said, for negative reasons. But I never fell off, always worked out. No matter if I was hungover, come down, still drunk, I always showed up. So working out was always a part of my life. So once I hit a certain age, I was like, man, with social media started taking off.
Yes, sir.
Platforms started getting bigger with people in their own personal brand. I was like, man, I have more results than a lot of people that are doing this. Why don't I, go all in on myself? Yeah. But I know I couldn't at the time because I was still drinking. Still, I had my foot in one side with the neighborhood and the homies. Then I had my foot on the health side. Like we talked about the other day, you can't be juggling both things and be successful with either one.
No.
You got to pick or choose. So once I turned 24, I crashed a car. Another one. I crashed a few cars in my life from drinking and driving. And that was my moment where I said, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm tired of being broke check to check. I'm going to make this change. And that there is when pretty much when I turned 24 was when I made that change. So I'm 27 now. So every single day I've been sober, no smoking, no drugs, no alcohol. I've been sober every single day since then, and I made that decision to invest in myself.
How do you feel, man, knowing that, man, I'm this young? Most people your age, they can't wait for the weekend.
Yeah, it's still.
I'm going to go drink.
Still active.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
how do you feel, man? How do you feel inside internally?
Yeah, in all honesty, bro, I feel the greatest that I've ever felt in my life because even before, when I was a kid, when I wasn't drinking or nothing, still wasn't in tune with myself. I had a lot of problems. I grew up with anger problems. Any little thing would piss me off. Like, if I couldn't accomplish something, it would just, I'd get mad. I'd hit myself, throw things, hit walls. And
you hit yourself?
Yeah, I always had anger problems as a kid.
You're hired?
Yeah, like very, very bad. Like when I played sports, when I played baseball, like at a park, I was playing for a league, and if I got struck out or something, I'd throw the bat. Like I was crazy. Like, and I have people that'll tell you, they're like, man, I used to be a little angry person, and a lot of people, they still don't. I think when you have anger problems, it always lives in you forever.
Yeah.
But you learn how to kind of adapt. So I've been kind of learning how to adapt. And since I've been in tune with myself now, I feel blessed, bro. I just feel life is so good. You know what I mean? I'm in tune. I love what I'm doing. And I'm willing to go all in on myself every single day. So it's just a great feeling, bro.
Let me ask you this. Your anger issues, have you modified them?
Like, have they gotten better?
Yeah, have you controlled them?
Yeah, they're controlled now.
How did you do it?
Honestly, doing it was a lot from getting sober and the workouts, because after you work out, it puts you in tune with yourself. Your mindset feels better, you feel a little more comfortable. Like, if you're going through something, you go hit a workout, it's a little bit easier to kind of go about your day. So working out for me, it's always been more than just a muscle. I've always had a reason to why I worked out. So obviously when I was younger, it was to get bigger, to get down with fools, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then as I got older and I started adapting, then it was to work out to feel better about myself.
Let me ask you this. Now, let's say something happens, you get angry. Do you react or do you actually sit back and be like, okay, this can be the consequence. This is going to be my choice. How do you handle your anger now?
So I still react in ways that I know I need to improve, but it's not like before to where I would react to, okay, now you know what, I'm pissed off, my day's fucked, I'm gonna go to go to the store to get a drink.
Yeah.
You know what, I'm gonna go to the hood today because I had a long day at work, so I'm gonna go post up with the homies. I no longer react in that way.
That's good.
I kind of react in ways to where like I'll get irritated, you know what I mean, my energy will be a little off, but now I catch myself. So then I'll be like, wait a minute, hold on, I gotta stop. Like I can't keep acting this way because these are the things that I need to work on.
I feel like, do you believe in energy?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, everything.
People feed off that.
Yeah. That's one thing too that I've realized now is it's me and my lady, we're together 24/7. So like if I'm angry or irritated, it rubs off that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm starting to catch myself more because it's like, damn, if I'm over here getting all irritated, angry, she's just sitting there. Even if it's not something she's getting bothered by, it's the energy. So
yeah,
like
it's shifting her way now.
Yeah. So like if you're in a bad mood, pissed off, she's gonna be in a bad mood, pissed off. Not because anything happened to her. It's just because we're together, and when you're in a relationship, your energy really feeds out, even if just friendship, like if I'm over here all negative throughout this podcast,
I'll
you're
be
gonna,
like, damn, dog, what the hell's your problem?
You see
yeah.
So
You can feel it.
Yeah, 100%. So
Yeah.
energy is a huge thing, man. So I always try to make sure I keep it on point, but I catch myself now.
That's good, Papa. That's good.
100%.
I got a question. You think your lady is a big influence in your life to make the right decisions as a man?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like when you really look at people who are successful and they have everything from the mindset to finances to family, they have a wife, they have someone in their corner.
A backbone.
Yeah, they have a backbone. So I think there's people out there successful single, but I think like the people that I look up to really, me personally, are the ones like, Guerrero. Look at prime example, has his whole family, has everything that he wanted for his life, and that's
built it.
Yeah, he built it, And as the man, that's what you do, you build. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to build, and you take the lead. It's not supposed to be the opposite, And I think a lot of people, they fail there, and that's why people stay the same for so long, and they don't really progress in life.
If you can say anything about your girl that she brings to the table, what would it be?
Everything. She brings the love. Makes me happy. She makes my business better. There is no Coach Bandit without her. In all honesty, yeah, she brings a lot, bro. And without her, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now.
And I ask these questions because I'm a big believer in a relationship, in a family.
Yeah.
And that's something I've been working on. That's why every time somebody comes on, I ask these questions.
Yeah.
Because I want to know too. There's something I might not know that I want to learn from you.
Yeah.
Just because I'm older doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, you could always learn from some. Like,
yes.
When it comes to life, you can't think that you have it all figured out. If you're kind of like, you think you have things figured out, you don't want to learn, you don't want to grow from somebody else, you're never going to really get to your full potential.
Exactly.
I've worked out for 12 years, and I still, to this day, if you teach me something about some form, I'm not going to be like, oh, nah, like, I'm going to listen to you and see, does that make sense? Oh, it does make sense. Same thing with nutrition. There's always a different diet you could learn. So I've learned, like, you got to be open to learning from people, If you're not open to that learning, bro, you're not going to have much growth, in all honesty.
I'm going to ask something because we're in the in-between. And the series that we're doing, the podcast, is in between. We're not there yet. We're in the middle. We got past this. That's where we're standing at the moment. What was the biggest hurdle for you as a person? What was the biggest trauma that you had to get over, you still deal with? And how are you handling those things to get where you want to be?
The biggest trauma? Honestly, I think for me, it was probably, I think a lot of people, obviously, we go through losses with death and stuff like that. But I think that's one that we all, we're going to go through no matter what.
It's life.
But I feel like some are self-inflicted. So, like, for me, one of the biggest things that I dealt with was the alcohol addiction. Because that was something that was self-inflicted and I chose to. I think in life, death is guaranteed.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that, you can't, what I've learned is you can't let things that are guaranteed and that you can't control have that power over you.
Oof.
You know,
Oof.
because like you can't change it. You know,
No.
so like a lot of people, like even on my comments sometimes when I talk about certain things, they're like, oh, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. Yeah, it's not easy, but you know, if you can't have the power to physically change it, what else can you do?
It's part of life.
You have to mentally be strong enough to push yourself to be like, you know what, I'm gonna keep moving forward, and I'm not gonna let this have a hold on me. You know what I mean? So for me, the biggest thing for me has been alcohol addiction. Luckily I mean, I've had a couple big losses, you know, some homies. Thankfully for me, I haven't had a lot of family members that I've lost yet.
Yeah.
It's just been homies due to the hood and stuff like that. Those
Yeah.
were huge, you know, but like I said, those are things that are natural. They're going to come. So
Yeah.
for me, that alcohol addiction set my life back a lot.
How bad were you in your alcohol addiction? And be free to say like how in the morning, day, night, weekends, every day when you woke up, or was just
Yeah,
when you get fucked up.
Yeah, it was every day. So, you know, I'd have days where we wake up 6, 7 in the morning and we're already planning like, hey, what's up? We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. We'll already have the liquor, the alcohol. You know, they don't start selling alcohol till like 7, so
Yeah.
we'd already have it ready. And then we start drinking from 7. By 11, 12, we buy some more, and it was just an everyday thing, you know. And it wasn't just the drinking that was. It's what people do with the drinking that makes it bad. You know what I'm saying?
Al rato fools be like, yeah, saca la bolsita.
Yeah, you see, yeah. So you start getting,
Yeah.
you know, other drugs involved. You know, they're gonna come up. You know,
Yeah, it's natural.
You're from a neighborhood, dog. The drugs, the stuff is gonna come, and when you're intoxicated, you're a little bit more energized or intrigued to do those things. So for me, it was one of those things. It was just all night, whether it was Nas, Coke, pills. There were sometimes I wake up and it'd be like, oh, remember we took some Xannies, and it's like, oh, no wonder I don't remember nothing.
And you know
what I'm
what's so dangerous about all that? The choices you make when you're under the influence.
Yeah, especially being from a neighborhood, you could wake up in a cell and never come home.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's something that I always realized. Like when I would wake up from those times when I was blacked out, I'm like, damn, you know, like, fuck, did I do something stupid yesterday?
Yeah.
Or like, you know, and I'm asking around like, hey, what did we do last night? And they're like, you don't remember? And they're like, damn, what the hell? Like, how do you not remember? And then in my head, I'm like, damn. So it's the choices that we make. Obviously, alcohol is no good, you know, for our livers, and we know that. But I think for a lot of us, it's not good because then we come to like our environment here, like this is the neighborhood you're from, and it just gives you a different energy.
You feel like Superman.
Yeah, you're untouchable.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
untouchable. Anybody that you see that's not from your area, you're gonna have that energy. Like, who's this fool? Like, no
Yeah.
matter what. If I go to my neighborhood right now, I haven't drank in 2.5 years. If I go drink, I'm gonna be over there tripping. I know what I do. I've tried to control it, and once I have one, it just takes that out. It takes that energy from the hood. It brings it back, and then I'm on one. You know?
Man, you're so right about that. Perfect example. Not too long ago, I was here and I got messed up.
Yeah.
And guess what happened?
Same thing.
I took off on somebody.
Exactly. There's
For what reason?
Yeah, for nothing. You know, it's like it was probably someone who didn't even want it. You know.
It is like because you get that energy.
You get that energy, and even like when you get put on a gang, no matter what, like no matter if you're still fully involved, it's always gonna be in you.
Yeah.
No matter what, like I'm still close to my neighborhood. I'm not away. I still talk to my homies. I'm still from the neighborhood, you know. But no matter what, like everywhere you go, you see someone looking at you, you're like, you have that energy.
Yeah.
It never goes away. So you got to learn how to adapt and create that new life.
So when you create that new life, the energy you put into the gang banging, to running around, how's that helped you? That energy, the bad energy, to do bad stuff, to be a coach bandit, to influence people for the good, to get on your grind. Yeah. How's that helped you as a coach?
It shifted me because it showed me, you know, if you want something, you go do it. So like when you're from a neighborhood, right, you're gonna put it all in for your hood, you know.
Yeah.
It's not for your name no more. You're doing it for your hood, you know. So that taught me how to just go all in on myself. You know what I'm saying? Because if you could go all in the hood and gangbang, you could go all in on yourself. You know, there's no reason not. So you're going all in on something that's gonna either kill you or take you to jail. Why not go all in on something that's gonna get you rich and, you know, pay your mom's bills and take care of your family and your lady? You know what I'm saying?
Say that one more time.
If you're gonna, you know, put all in the gang banging and get nothing out of it besides death, you know, jail cells, why not go all in on yourself and pay your mom's bills, take care of your family, and create the life that you truly want for yourself? You know, you got two choices. Which one sounds better? That one is common sense.
Hey, dog, that's good knowledge right there for our audience that are watching. It's like some people think it's cool. You there's people out there still. They've been working for 20 years, and all of a sudden they want to start politicking on the streets.
Start game banging.
You're like,
yeah.
come on, dog. Are you stupid or what?
What are you doing? Like,
Come on.
That's something that we've all like. When I feel like when you've really done it and you really went all in and you gave it your all,
Yeah.
you get over it a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I gave when I got jumped in, I gave it my all. I wasn't shying away. I wasn't every single place I went. Somebody asked me, "Hey, where you at? Where you from?" You know, I'm telling them I'm from Dominguez. You know, I'm telling them this, and then there'd be some people that ask like, "Oh, where you from?" And then I tell them, and then they weren't asking in that way. You know, yeah. They were asking in just like a normal way, and I'm like, I don't know this dude, and I told them, and I bang on them, and then they're like, oh no, not like that. And then I started catching myself, and I was like, oh man, this is I'm going all in, you know.
Yeah.
Like you start going all in. So I think for me, I did everything that I could, you know, from game banging, and I seen what you get out of it, and you don't get out what you think you're gonna get out.
And I can tell you I've been doing that for
Yeah,
years.
you have more experience. Yeah, you have any more experience than
And
me.
I'm barely catching up to what you're doing.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
Coach Guerrero,
Yeah.
to Shadow, to all you guys I mess around with Estrada. Like, I'm like, damn. With Triple G, I'm like, damn, dog. Like, I'm fucking way behind.
Yeah, these fools are doing it. And it's just all about, like I said, going all in on yourself. You know, a lot of times we procrastinate, and it was like, you could have started, you know,
Years ago.
you know, and it's like, what are we holding back for? At the end of the day, time's going to keep going. So people always wait for this perfect moment, like, oh, you know, come Monday, you know, then I'm going to start this clothing brand. Then I'm going to start this business. But it's like, why not just go do it today?
Coach Bandit.
It's cracking.
You rather have Coach Bandit or Joseph?
Either or. Either or.
Coach Bandit. What can you give an audience advice on if you want to stop drinking today? What steps did you take as a person, as a man, as a coach now to stop? What can you give them?
The first advice that I would give you is whoever you're kicking it with every single weekend, you got to make that change. You for sure got to be willing to remove yourself from certain people, no matter how much it might temporarily hurt, no matter if they don't like what you're going to do, that you're trying to avoid them and stuff like that. You have to be willing to separate yourself, because if you're struggling with alcohol like I once was, there was no way that I could kick it and not drink. There was no way that I could be around my homies, my family members. There's just no way. There's too many beers. People are going to be giving them to you. So what I did was I separated myself for like a year. Honestly, so I'm about 2.5 years sober. I haven't seen a lot of people since I've got sober. And that was what helped me, because I was no longer around it as much. So it took me away. So then I didn't have that want for it. You know, I was around other people. I was always working out. So I went all in on the gym, all in on my nutrition. And then now I was around, you know, water. I was around things that we actually need. And then now that I'm 2 years sober, I've been away from it so long that now I don't, even when I'm around people, I don't need it, because I separated myself. And then when you come back and you see the scenery, it's like, oh, look at how these fools are acting. I don't want to, I was like that. And then you remember the hangovers.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. You feel bad about yourself. So always remember how you felt after the drinking. If you're having thoughts that you should stop drinking, that's a sign that you should stop drinking. Because you're never going to have a sign or thoughts like, oh, maybe I should stop working out. Maybe I should stop eating healthy. Why? Because we know those are things that we need in life. But we know we don't need alcohol. So that's why so many people, they're like, I should probably stop. You hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, I should probably stop drinking. It's because you know it's not good for your life. You got a bad habit. Now you need to separate yourself from that environment so that way you could get free from it. And that right there set me free.
Good. Second question. If somebody wants to start on their fitness journey today and didn't have no outlets, didn't know who to ask, where to go to, where to stand, what would you tell them?
So my first real advice would be obviously to get a coach, but a lot of people, they're not going to go that route. So
Yes.
the first step for what I would tell you is just to go to the gym. Once you step into that environment, you're putting yourself in an area to where there's no way that you're not going to learn and grow, because you're going to see the workouts. You're going to see other people. You're going to meet people in that environment. It's like if you want to be a mechanic, right? You're not going to just do it at home by yourself. You know, you're probably going to get around someone that knows how to do it so you can learn that game from them.
Go to the junkyard, huh?
Go to the junkyard. Yeah, you know, like there's no way around it. You have to be around someone that's going to teach you. There's no way around it, in all honesty. So actually, I'd say, you know, get a coach, get someone that's going to teach you, so that way you don't have to go 5 years doing things wrong.
Yes.
You know, in all honesty, bro, like I said, I worked out for since I was 15. The first 7, 8 years, I did everything wrong. I was trying to do it by myself.
Let me tell you this. You know what's crazy? If you do the math, people are so hesitant when it comes to hiring a coach. Oh, they charge this much. Hey, dog, if you spend $20 a day on fast food,
Oh yeah,
that's on 5 days, that's $100,
yeah,
right?
it's a wrap.
In 2 weeks, that's $1,000.
Yep,
In 4 weeks, what is that? That's 2 racks.
yep.
So you're telling me you'd rather spend 2 racks a month on junk food, on food that's not gonna help you, when a coach is less than that for 90 days.
Yeah, you can get a coach cheaper than that, but people want a pity pinch, and people don't want to buy things that people don't want to invest in themselves. They rather invest in material things like the chains, the earrings, cars. But those are things that you don't need.
No.
You know, you don't know. Honestly, when I bought this chain, it was cool for a couple weeks, and now it's kind of like I don't even care for it. You know, like it's cool. Sometimes I wear it, sometimes not, because it's just a materialistic thing. But the thing that matters the most, what do you want on point every single day? You want your body on point. So
Mando.
when I wake up, the first thing isn't I'm not thinking about my chain. I'm not thinking about my truck. I'm not thinking about none of those things. I'm thinking about how do I look? And that's what everybody they go to the mirror, that's the first thing that they think. So if you're not able to have yourself on point, what do you need all this other stuff for when you're wasting your money? You know what I'm saying?
Coach Bandit, what's the importance about investing in yourself?
The important about investing in yourself is the investments in yourself actually save you money long term, because when you try to do things by yourself and you're not getting the proper equipment, you're not getting the proper information, you're going to try to figure it out on your own for 5 years, and you're going to keep doing it wrong. You're going to keep doing it incorrectly. So overall, in 5 years, if you just would have invested yourself, what it took you 5 years to learn, you could have learned that in 6 months just from doing the proper investment.
How much have you grown since you started investing yourself when you started being with Guerrero Fitness?
Oh, I've probably made more money in a year than I have almost in fucking probably 10 years. In all honesty, because you know when you're working check to check and you're living check to check, you're not really making any money. You're just
No.
getting by. So I never was able to save, bro. I couldn't save $20, bro. I was throwing like $5, $10, and then most times I was avoiding my savings because it was like, what is $5 gonna do? You know, you see $5, and then you see $10 at the end of the week. It's like, what am I doing this for? But then when I started investing in myself and I started saving more, and then I start seeing 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, then I was like, oh, then I was energized to actually put stuff into my savings. But that came from investing in myself, and he taught me the way to get money, to put myself out there, to be strategic with what I'm doing with my business. So once I learned that investment from there, what I put down to pay for him, I'm quadruple, triple, whatever you want to call it.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, he's seen it.
I
So
can vouch for
I
that.
passed it up. So it was just like people, and when I told people about that investment, they're like, "Oh, what did you do to learn this and that?" And I tell them the price. They're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! No way, I can't do that." But it's like, what do you mean you can't do that? Look how much money I made from that little start. So now to me, like I said this the other day, I bought a camera that was like 2,000 plus the lens is like another 2,000 plus the insurance on it, so it came to like $5,000. But yeah, it's a $5,000 investment, but I know I'm gonna make fucking $100,000 out of it just from having it. So it's like, yeah, it might seem like a lot, but think the bigger picture.
Longevity.
Exactly, that's all it is. So if you're gonna penny pinch on yourself, expect to make penny pinch money.
Man, and I feel like that's where everybody neglects to invest. They invest in liquor, fast food every day,
Chains.
chains, shoes, $300 shoes, $400 shoes. When all that could have gone to your
Themselves.
business,
Themselves.
yourself, and that's what you're monetizing right now.
Yeah, that's all I monetize, and I always tell people, go all in on yourself. There's enough money for every single one of us out here. All the homies from the hood. If you're not from a hood, it doesn't matter where you are. If you're standing, you got your feet, you got your mind, you have those things together. You know how much you could do.
How important is being in a sober state of mind to run a business, to be in fitness? Is it it doesn't matter, it's okay, or it has to be 100% sobriety?
For me personally, it has to be 100% sobriety. So alcohol, it puts me in a different mind state. If I drink Friday, I feel weird, hungover, not my energy until Thursday. And then by Thursday, it's time to drink again. So for me, sobriety is a must. I was already doing training. I was a personal trainer at EOS Gym. I was doing personal training on my own. This was when I was like 20 through 22. I'm 27 now, and I got sober at 24. So from 20 to 24, nothing ever took off for me. I was I was losing money doing personal training. I wasn't making no money online. I had no business online. And then once I got sober, all the dots started connecting. I got my own business. I got my LLC. I started seeing money from the LLC.
Sheesh.
Everything started advancing. So then I was like, not only are things advancing for my life, but I'm also saving money because I'm no longer buying packs of beer. I'm no longer buying bottles. No longer buying Nas. Those are things that I was doing as well every single weekend. And once I seen how much money I was saving just from stopping drinking, I was able to pour all that money into my business.
How much is a 20 pack? Like
Probably like $20, $30, one of the two.
one.
Yeah, one.
They say on the weekend you buy 3 to 4.
So almost $300.
For what?
Yeah, and then that's not even including food. If you put the food into the table too, you're spending about anywhere from $600 to $1,000 a weekend. A lot of people, they just blow that.
One turkey log at the store is about $5.99, right?
Yep.
You can make 3 to 4 meals with that.
People think meal prepping and being healthy is expensive. You just, for one, you put your money in the wrong places. Two, you don't know where to shop. Sometimes, bro, I'll go to like a grocery store. Like I said, we're gonna give you free game. I'll go to Aldi, and sometimes I'll walk out of there with my meal prep, and I'll leave with like $50, $60 spent. And people are like, oh, meal prepping so expensive, eating healthy so expensive. No, you don't know how to buy the right things. You know what's really expensive? Going to fucking Chipotle and you get a bowl that's like $30, $20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's one meal. You can make it two, but that's 2 meals. I could get, if I put $30 and I buy meat, I could buy food for the whole week. In all reality, if you're bulking, that's different. So let's
yeah.
But if you're just trying to be healthy, you're not gonna, you're gonna save a lot of money.
Coach, earlier you said there's enough for everybody. What do you mean by that?
When I say there's enough for everybody, so a lot of people, they're in competition, and let's say you have a business, right?
Yeah.
People don't want to do business with someone that has the same business. So let's, for example, I'm a coach, right? So it's better to be willing to collab with people, so that way you guys could grow together. There's so much money out here. There's so many different clients. There's so many different opportunities that just because you collab with somebody that does your same profession doesn't mean that they're going to steal your clients. They're going to take away from you. In all reality, you're going to help each other grow. So when it comes to me with coaching with, Guerrero, Triple, Estrada, Shadow, all of these dudes, I'm willing to collab with them because I know we're going to learn from each other. The conversations we're going to have. The game, the push, I'm pushing them out, they're pushing me out. So it's a collaboration. So when you're afraid to do business with people that do the same business as you, you're only gonna shoot yourself in the foot, because all the people that are collabing, think about it, all the ones that are collabing, they're all growing. The ones that are trying to do it on their own, they're struggling.
Dog.
Straight up.
Hey, you know what? I used to say this in the joint. Hey, la mesa está grande para todos. Meaning, there's enough room for everybody, homie. But everybody plays these shiesty ass games like, I don't want to. I'm so glad you said that, dog.
Yeah, a lot of people, they feel like they're too big for the program to, to like deal with other people. But in all reality, like I said, I don't ever link with the homies, the coaching homies, and think like, oh, this fool's gonna steal my clients, or this fool's gonna steal my team members. At the end of the day, when it comes to business, people are buying from your brand. So if you be yourself and you be who you are, that's how I am. All of my team members, they tell me like, yeah, I went with you because I connected with you. I like your story. I like the way that you personally talk. I like the way that you move. Then there's others that no matter what, if they like somebody else, they're going to go with them regardless. So when you're willing to collab together, you're only going to blossom from that.
Well said, dog. That's a free game right there.
That's some game.
You know what I mean? And it's a beautiful thing to hear, because it's outsiders, dog, that want to do more with you than the own people that you grew up with,
Yeah, that's how it always is going to be. For some reason, when you do business, it's like I don't have nobody that I personally really know in person that's on my team. It's all people from social media. I think a lot of times people get stuck in, they just either want things free, they don't want to really fully support, but they'll support things from other people without even knowing. They'll post a famous YouTuber, their video, but then my video, it'll just get they'll scroll past it, you
Yeah.
know. They'll double tap it, won't watch. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I know that fool.
Yeah. And it's like, so you're willing to, you know, get somebody else paid, but not your own circle. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
fucked up, huh?
And that's like even with me, like we talked about earlier, when you gave me the shirt a long time ago, and I collabed that post with you.
Yeah, and I told you.
It's because, you know, I'm not afraid to put other people out there with their business, because I know, like I said, you know, if you look out for me, if you're a good person, I'm gonna do the same right back for you. So he gave me a shirt, and you know, without him asking, you know, I did a video with it, posted it, collabed it with him, and he was like, "Oh shit, the homie posted, you know, like the collab." And it's like I said, it's all about being willing to work together. If you can work together and push someone out there, you're only gonna get benefits in return from that.
And you know what? And that to me, like as a person, as a man, it spoke about you so highly because it wasn't asked of you.
Yeah.
Your ethics and morals were already there, homie. And I'm so grateful to have you as a friend coming to the podcast and sharing your story, you know, because a lot of people don't do that, homie.
Yeah.
A lot
for
of people
sure,
are scared of fucking, oh, let me shout out the homie over here.
Yeah.
For what reason, I don't know. And I feel like it's dying, homie, in our community.
Yeah, for sure.
You
It's
know?
just too much competition. People know
Yeah.
that they, maybe with even clothing, right? They might have a thought in their mind that they want to do clothing themselves. So they're like, oh, if I post his clothing, they're not gonna buy my clothing.
Yeah.
But it's
Nah.
like, you know how many people on social media there is? Like on my page, I have like 17 million people on my dashboard. 17 million. So who would I be to be, you know, greedy or you know, selfish to not help a homie out? You know, I think at the end of the day, like if you're true homies, and even if you're not, like if you did something genuine for me, I'll do something genuine right back. So I think people being genuine, there's not a lot of that. You know, people fail, you know, with that.
Big time, dog.
Yeah,
Big time.
100%.
You know, if there's something you can give to the audience before we wrap this up, by all means, brother, go ahead. What would you give them?
One thing I give you is, whether you're struggling with addiction, death, got fired from work, just make sure that you could get up, tie up your shoes, and just go for it again. Whatever it is that you want with your life. If there's something that's holding you back, you got to be willing to set it free, or even set it to the side, but make sure you get done what you need to create that better life for yourself. Whether it's your money, you're struggling with alcohol, if you stay there, you're never going to change. But the moment that you decide to get up and make the change, that's when everything for your life, it'll start flowing free, and you'll get around the right people, and your life is going to change for the better. And that's facts.
And I want to thank you for coming to the Tinman podcast. It's always a pleasure, brother. And blessings to you and your family.
Yes, sir.
Grateful to you in so many ways. Want to thank Jordan for always being here, helping out, doing what he does on behind the scenes. He's the brain of the whole operation.
Yes, sir.
And blessings to all. Thank you,
Blessings
Bandit.
to all. Let's get it. You guys already know.